Hey guys, good evening. Hope everything's going well. Um, we're going to be starting to do Bible studies in person, but we're also going to start sharing them on Instagram Story Live as well too. So tonight, upon request, we're going to start studying about different people in the Bible, and we're going to start off with Noah. So, what do you guys know about Noah's Ark? Did you watch the VeggieTale movie as a kid, or the big Hollywood version of it? Did you watch the movie Noah, Evan Almighty? Or some of you might not even know who Noah is, and that's okay. Noah is a guy. His story is found in Genesis chapter 6 to 9, and he was living in some pretty dark times. It says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 12, the Amplified Version says that humanity had corrupted their way on earth and lost their direction. God looked on the earth and saw how debased and degenerate it was, for all humanity had corrupted their way on earth and lost their true direction. The NIV version says God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupt. It was a time where everyone was following their own direction instead of seeking God or listening to God. They were pretty much going their own way, seeking power and what they wanted instead of seeking God in His way. Except for one person out of the whole world, there was one. And that was Noah. It says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 8 to 9, that Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. He walked faithfully with God. Now, Noah wasn't a perfect man, but in a time where everyone was walking their own way, Noah was still walking with God. What do you think that means, to walk with God? He communicated with God. What that looks like today is reading our Bibles and praying. God wants to know us. He wants to walk with us. But He also has given us free will. He wants us to choose Him. We can choose, and we have choices. We can choose to walk our own way, or we can choose to walk with God. It's not always easy walking with God, especially when everyone else is walking their own way and thinks, especially when everyone is walking their own way, and it can be kind of tempting to walk the same way they're walking. But as Christians, we're called to walk with God, to be in communication with God, to read the Bible, to know more about God, to know His promises. In Hebrew 11, chapter 7, it said, "It was by faith that Noah built a large boat to save his family from the flood. He obeyed God, who warned him about things that had never happened before. By his faith, Noah condemned the rest of the world. He received the righteousness that comes by faith." In another verse, I believe it's in Peter's, it talks about how he was a preacher of righteousness. But obviously, as it was just him and his family on the boat, no one else listened. The rest of the story, for those who don't know, Noah builds this ark. Now, cool thing, I googled this. The ark was really big enough to fit an elephant and giraffe and all the animals of that time. Don't believe me? Google it. And better yet, take a look into Genesis chapter 6, verse 9 and read the story yourself. He builds the ark, he gathers the animal, gathers food, the flood happens, they're on the water for 40 days and 40 nights. They send out some birds. Eventually a bird comes back with an olive branch. The boat settles on the top of the mountain. They light light an offering to God, and God sends a rainbow, promising never to send a flood to flood the whole earth again. A covenant, a promise of God, promising that. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys. Noah hadn't seen water like that before. Yet he built a boat, and he listened, he walked faithful with God, and he trusted God, and the flood happened. What are you standing in faith? What are you standing in faith for today? And what are you expecting to receive from God's promises? God makes promises for us, which you can find in the Bible. So search them up. Don't take my word for any of this. Open the Bible yourself. Find out more about God's promises. And find out for yourself, what are you expecting to receive from his promises today? And tell me in the chat, what do you think about Noah? And who do you want to learn about next? Have a good night.